Hello and welcome to the Cameo Show. I'm your host, Cameo, and today we are going to have a brief episode about how to approach the new year, 2024. If you're new here, I would just like to preface this episode by saying I am a big goal setter. I believe in goals. I believe in really big, scary goals to push you past any limits that you think exist. But that's not what this episode's about. Because I think we get hung up every year on setting goals for the new year. I think that's important. Let's set goals and resolutions. My approach this year is going to be a little bit different. My approach is going to be about embracing authenticity. Goals are included in that. But also included in that is shedding societal norms, shedding shame associated with what I think I'm supposed to be doing, shedding all of the things that I should be doing and continuing to step in to who I am, all of the things that I love doing, whether I should be doing them or not, and staying really close to my intentionality with regard to goals and releasing things. So you might be thinking to yourself, hey, Cameo, that sounds great, but how do you plan to do that? Well, here's how I plan to do that. The first thing that I'm going to do is accept that starting something new is a challenge, and challenges can be scary. And that's not just something new that I'm going to do, it's also something new that I'm not going to do anymore. Anything new is going to be challenging. That includes releasing things. That includes letting go of things and people. Starting. Accepting that it's challenging and knowing that at the end of this year, I'm going to show up in my people's lives and in my own life in a more authentic way. Goals included, shedding included, all of that. That's where I'm going to start. If you're new here, you will also learn that I am a huge list maker. I have a vision board on my wall. I make lists with color-changing pens. And the second thing that I'm going to do, once I have some time to think and accept the challenge of stepping into a new year, new year, new you. It's annoying, but it's true, right? And it doesn't have to be at the beginning of the year, but that's where we are, and that's where a lot of people do start. And that's fine. Starting is often the challenge. Refer to number 1. The second thing that I'm going to do is really imagine what does it look like at the end of 2024 when it's done. Who is Cameo at the end of 2024? What goals did she accomplish? What things did she get rid of? How did she show up for the people in her life? And that starts with getting all my checklists ready, my color-changing pen out, and really allowing myself to write down what do I want to align myself with this year? Who do I want to align myself with this year? How can I step into being more authentic to myself? Now, when you first start, when you're starting from scratch, even though it's scary, some of these things may feel insignificant or silly to even write down because they're like, well, that's easy. But when you first start, like some of the first steps are really easy ones because when you're not doing anything at all is doing something, and sometimes those are really easy steps. But as you write these things down and as you acknowledge some of the things in your life that you want more of or less of, some of those things might start to become difficult. Difficult to think about, difficult to accept, difficult to know how to navigate. So that's the next thing that I'm going to do. The third thing I'm going to do while I'm making this plan or list or vision board is I'm also going to allow myself some space to address the conflicts or the scary things that may present themselves as they come up. Instead of dismissing them or acting like they don't exist or not allowing myself to dream big enough because it's too scary, I'm going to acknowledge those things. I'm going to address them, and I'm going to allow myself to not welcome them into my life, but almost be prepared for them. Because with anything new, with anything big, with anything scary, there's adversity. And there's going to be times as this progresses, as you're getting down through the list of things that you are aspiring to do or be, and also the list of things that you're letting go of, there are going to be difficult things that come up. Knowing that is half the battle. Understanding and accepting that is the next part of the battle. The choices will become more complex, but I know from past experience that even when I'm faced with this adversity or these complex decisions or these difficult decisions, that there is a major sense of clarity and fulfillment on the other side of them. And so as I begin to prepare to approach 2024, those are the 3 steps that I'm taking. That's the how I'm going to approach 2024. Accept that it's going to be challenging to start. Get clear on what it is that I want and don't want any longer in my life. And accept, acknowledge, and put some thought into the difficulty that I may have to navigate in working through those steps. I encourage all of you to put a plan together for how you're going to approach 2024. It doesn't have to be a list of things that you want to achieve or goals that you want to set. It can also be simple things, and it can also be things you want to let go of. And it may get difficult. And this is where it gets a little bit confusing, what I'm about to say, but the more difficult it gets, the process seemingly gets easier because you become more confident and more clear about the what, why, and how you're going to navigate through them. The process becomes more natural. So maybe easier isn't the right word, but the process becomes more natural. Give yourself permission and empower yourself to really step into alignment with who you are and the things that you love in the new year. And also to swipe away the things that you aren't any longer. I give you permission. I'm giving myself permission. Now you give yourself permission and make 2024 the best year yet. And I'm not just saying that because that's what you say at the beginning of a new year. I'm saying that because every year I kind of face this moment of last year was awesome. How am I going to top that? It isn't really about topping it. It's about really becoming closer to who I am as a human and what I want to bring to the world. And so I say it with a lot of conviction because I believe in the power of all of this and of this process. I also want to take a quick moment to express my gratitude to all of you listeners this year. I started this podcast. I didn't know what it was going to look like. I didn't know who would show up. I didn't know how long it would last. But here we are. I started in February. Here we are closing out the year with, I think this is my 52nd episode to put out. And the show has evolved. I see you all showing up every week. I am immensely grateful and hope that I'm making an impact on your life because that was the intent of this podcast, was to share the stories, the triumphs, the struggles in a way that feels relatable. I see you, there's so many places, I don't want to miss any, but every week I see you Middleburg, Florida. I see you Milwaukee. I see you Columbus, Ohio. I see you Zurich, Germany. I see you guys. I see you Chicago. Who else is, there's so many. I see you all. I don't know who, I don't know how many, but I get the cities updated in my stats and you're everywhere. And a lot of you are very consistent. And so I don't want 1 second to go by further as we close out this year without thanking you from literally the full amount of my heart, because this is really cool. It's amazing to have this platform to share with you. And I can't believe the community that we've built just in a short period of time. And I hope it continues to grow and that we continue to make an impact with me, Greg and I, and with our guests on your life. If you can implement one little thing from every episode, that's the goal. So thank you for showing up and for your support. And let's get them. Let's get them in 2024. The hard times, the good times, the tough decisions, all of it. Let's be here for all of it because time is flying and we're only here a short time. We don't know how long. So let's make the most of it.